Hey there, everybody. I'm meteorologist Anthony J. here, part of Weather of LA. I want to update folks in the Midwest and South about a severe weather threat that's looking more likely as we go through time. There's a big storm right now in the West. It's came in from the Pacific and it's moving towards Texas. It's producing lots of snow out here in the Rockies, and there are winter storm watches, winter storm warnings, everything you can think of. But farther east here, draw your attention to these colors. Those are really strong winds forecasted Friday in Texas, in Oklahoma, and in the south central states. So you know that if you're down there, and the fire risk is very high. And that's just the beginning, because this is going to be a major storm, a huge cyclone going across the country. And already the winds ahead of the storm kick temperatures up to near 100 degrees on Wednesday near the Rio Grande. And farther north in North Texas, you know it in Dallas, Fort Worth, Waco, you've got all kinds of wind alerts. There are red flag alerts. So that means the fire danger is really high ahead of this developing storm because it's getting so intense. And it's really going to start getting intense by Friday. Here's a wind forecast. These winds are forecast to be up to 90 miles an hour in West Texas on Friday. And that's without thunderstorms. It's just going to be dry winds coming across you there in the state of Texas. New Mexico also, Oklahoma, Kansas. These are the projected wind gusts peaking on Friday. Now, I think some of this might be a tad overdone, but nevertheless, we're going to see wind gusts 60 to 70 miles an hour, very common in western parts of this area, and eastern and southern central Texas, 40 to 60 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts will also be common. So be careful driving out there. But all of that comes together later Friday as the storm draws up moisture here from the Gulf. And those winds, come around the storm and will create thunderstorms later Friday. Anywhere in those colors there, especially the yellow and really the orange and red, the greatest likelihood of seeing tornadoes, hail, and just damaging wind gusts from thunderstorms alone. So things don't really get going, though, until later in the day, Friday, and then Saturday, we're really watching the south. I'll get to that threat coming up next. Now, look at the future tracker on Friday. The storm is way back here. You can see the lines are packed. Those are the lines of equal pressure. And storms start to fire. This is about 6 o'clock on Friday. So figure around this time, the storms develop in western Missouri. They're not especially numerous because the storm hasn't had time to really suck in a lot of moisture and instability from the Gulf. So that's one of the parameters and variables that are factoring in here. There may or may not be a lot of tornadoes in the Midwest Friday night if all the variables don't come together. We hope that's the truth. Now, I'm freezing this frame here at about 10 o'clock on Friday night. A line should develop from Iowa down to southern Missouri. So if you're in St. Louis, if you're in Peoria, if you're in the Quad Cities, you're likely to get hit by at least some thunderstorms, and there could be some tornadoes with those. That whole area lifts north, and conditions improve for you there on Saturday. The severe weather threat is gone. It's going to be farther southeast down towards Kentucky on Saturday. But let's take a look at what's going on again, the tornado threat. It's not especially high. You see the tornado parameters here aren't as high as they sometimes are. But nevertheless, you're going to see a moderate chance of tornadoes here. And here's another depiction of here from Bob Wasick. Again, he shows us here the timing very good. I would say maybe a little bit earlier, maybe 6 o'clock to 2 a.m. is when all of this happens, and it's going to move very quickly through these areas. So if you're in these towns in these bright colors here, like St. Louis, Springfield, Peoria, and Davenport, and the Quad Cities area, you are under the greatest risk. Not saying you're definitely going to get hit, but the potential is there. Now, let me talk about Saturday. This is the south. As that storm lifts north, another storm is going to form on the cold front over Louisiana early Friday morning. And there's going to be thunderstorms developing ahead of it, but let me advance this through morning time. This is about 10 a.m. Saturday. And you've got widespread thunderstorms from Louisiana up to Tennessee and North Georgia and North Alabama. So anywhere in those zones, remember, you saw that in the SBC outlook, you are under a moderate risk. And these storms are going to be much more numerous and intense than the ones in the Midwest on Friday. You'll see that as I zoom in here. This is the future tracker freeze at about 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. So anywhere from near New Orleans, across Mississippi, into the areas I mentioned here across the Deep South, you could see a few or maybe several strong tornadoes. We hope that they don't touch down in anyone's neighborhoods. They could, but there will be some tornadoes around that you'll have to be aware of. So listen to all the warnings. You can keep checking back because it could be a rather serious situation for you on Saturday, and this will last a good portion of the day. So this is severe weather season, and it's the time that we typically start to really ramp it up here as we head into the spring. Here's from Max Velocity on X or Facebook. He posted a graphic here from a model showing the tornado potential. And the tornado potential is through the roof on this particular model he's showing. Now, this one might be a little bit high, but nevertheless, we are increasingly confident there's going to be some tornadoes and lots of severe weather across the South on Saturday. So I will be issuing some more updates here, and I want you also to check out a weather app called Weather Valet, which is, you can see that right there. Just go to weathervalet.com and you can sign up for weather updates. It's part of America's weather streaming channel, and you can find that as well. Have a safe weekend out there and be safe.